We will make pulao, which is similar to pilaf, rice, vegetables, and a touch of spices. So the first step is to soak the rice, and the rice that I like to use is long grain or basmati rice, and I'm going to soak it and leave it aside for about 5 minutes. I'm going to set it aside right here, and the next step is to do vagar, which we have been talking about. It's again a very basic technique of cooking Indian food. We heat the oil, we temper the seeds to bring out the flavor and the spice of the oil, which in turn flavors the recipe. So again, oil of your choice. I'm going to add a little bit. You can also use ghee or clarified butter. And the spices for vagar are cumin seeds. I'm going to add some cumin seeds and one whole red chili. It can be any chili from your grocery store, and some cinnamon pieces. I just took a cinnamon stick and broke them into smaller pieces. So I'm going to add that. So if you notice, these are all kind of heaty spices and adds a lovely flavor to the oil and the pilaf. And then I'm going to add some cloves, and again, you don't want to walk away while the vagar is cooking, and we don't want to let it go too longer because it can burn really fast. I'm adding the onions and stirring it lightly. I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit, and we'll let the onions cook for a minute, couple minutes. They become a little translucent, turn color. And the next step is to add vegetables. So these can be a mixture of any vegetables, but typically in the pulao, I add green beans and potatoes and carrots. If you have some other vegetables in your fridge, like peppers or broccoli, feel free to do so. But that may change the cooking time a little bit. So let's see. The onions look pretty good, and I'm going to go ahead and add the beans, the vegetables, and carrots. And again, add some water. It needs a little bit of water, which I'm going to add. Give it a light stir, turn up the heat, bring it to a boil, and let it cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. And in the meantime, our rice has already been soaking, and I'm going to cover this up. Just leave it ajar just a little bit, so when the water comes to a boil, I can bring it down. Rinse the rice a little bit, and again, soaking is not really necessary, but it does help it to cook faster. And you can do this in a colander in your sink. And our rice is ready. So once the vegetables kind of cook, I would say about 70-80%, we are going to go ahead and add the rice, the tomatoes, salt, turmeric, and the chilies, and let the whole mixture cook on low heat. Go ahead and check on our pulao and see how it's coming along. Okay, it is looking absolutely lovely, but as you see, the long grain rice is kind of puffed up a little bit, but it is still not cooked. And the best way to tell is just put a little bit on your counter and test the grain of rice and see if it's cooked. I can still feel a little bit of grittiness, so it's not cooked. We'll give it a few more minutes, and I've turned the heat down. It's fairly low, and it should be ready, and I have not stirred it at all during this whole time. So let's go ahead and check on our pulao. That is absolutely perfect. It is magic. You just put the rice and the veggies together and it just does its job. And again, I'm not stirring it or mixing it up. The steam will just, cook everything together and your pulao is done. Oh, and a very important thing. If you remember, we added all these whole spices in the beginning in the vagar. I would definitely take them out before serving to unsuspecting guests, or if it comes in your plate, I would watch out for it, take it out, and then there may be a whole chili floating in it somewhere. Let me see, actually I just found the chili, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out. And if you find some cloves, you can, or just leave it and you can warn your guests that there may be whole spices coming their way. I'm going to turn down the heat and the pulao is done. So let's go ahead and get started on aloo gobi. The pan is already hot. I turned up the heat just a little bit ago, and I'm going to add some oil. Again, in all the recipes that you watch me cook, I'm not measuring, just kind of following my intuition as to how much I need of the spices and all the other ingredients. And we are doing vagar or tadka, and I'm going to add some cumin seeds. Wow, that is looking just lovely. The pan is hot, the oil is hot, and the seeds are turning color. And just for a slightly different taste, you can put some green chilies in the vagar if you want to. It does add a little bit of a different flavoring. So I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit, and once they turn golden brown, I'll go ahead and add the chopped vegetables, and also add a little bit of water so it doesn't burn. Stir everything together, cover it, and let it cook. And before I put the lid on, we'll go ahead and add salt and turmeric. Salt, when you add it, does help the vegetables to cook a little faster. So I think the seeds are doing pretty good. I can smell the cumin. Again, a reminder that you don't want to walk away after you have started the vagar or tadka or tempering, because it does cook super fast. And I think this is a perfect golden color. So the vagar is done, and I'm going to add again the wonderful sound of Indian food cooking. Potatoes, you notice they are slightly cut a little bigger, and bell peppers. I'm going to stir the veggies, mix them up. This is not the typical aloo gobi recipe. This is how I grew up cooking and making it. This is how my mom taught me. You'll find several variations of aloo gobi recipes online. Again, a touch of turmeric and some salt. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. So this is a non-stick pan, But if you don't have a non-stick pan, just a light layering of water on the bottom helps. So that's mixed fairly well, and it's amazing. The cauliflower pieces, as they cook, they really soften and kind of shrink a little bit. So this is the first step, and we will cover it and let the veggies cook for about 15 minutes or so until the veggies are softened. And we will check on the mixture maybe a few times just to make sure that they are not sticking or not burning, and if they are, you can add a little bit of water again. Our veggies look pretty good. The cauliflower has cooked. I'm just gonna test it real quick. It's nice and soft, not too mushy. The potatoes are also cooked, and it's time to add the rest of the spices. We'll go ahead and add the dana jeera, the same spice we have added in other dishes that we cooked tonight. Cumin and coriander powder, and a little bit of chili powder. Again, you can adjust it to your taste. I'm going to give it a light stir. Now, the Indian spices tend to combine 5 basic tastes: the salty, the spicy, the sour, astringent, that's like a bitter taste, and sweet. So typically many cooks from Western India especially like to add a little bit of touch of sugar. I'm going to add just some water. At this stage you can also add some tomato sauce or diced tomatoes if you want. And again, you can make this dish using a combination of any other vegetables. There could be green beans and potatoes, or peppers and broccoli and peas. You can add some paneer or tofu to add an extra boost. And all of these recipes are vegan, gluten-free. We haven't used any dairy or any high-fat ingredients so far. So this looks good. We'll let it cook for a couple more minutes. I would say 2 to 5 minutes actually, with the spices. We'll cover it, and the veggies cook nicely on low heat. Aloo gobi is ready. Healthy, gluten-free, vegan, delicious, spicy, home-style cuisine from India. You can have this with a side of flat bread, some yogurt, with some dal and rice, or just by itself, or even make a burrito or a wrap out of it. So here we are. We have cooked 5 delicious recipes, home-style cuisine of India, just the way my mom taught. Healthy, delicious, and all plant-based. Chole or spicy garbanzo beans, aloo gobi, potato and cauliflower, pulao, a rice and vegetable dish, and a warm salad with carrots, green peppers, and cabbage, and our salad, tomato and cucumber salad. I really enjoyed sharing these with you tonight. I hope you enjoy them, and thank you so much for supporting Boulder Food Rescue.